Here is the mistake most first-time travelers make in Europe. They think the money question is simple. They ask, should I bring cash or should I just use my card? And because the answer sounds obvious, they make the wrong choice before the trip even starts. Some people land in Europe with a thick stack of cash, scared that their card will not work. Other people arrive with almost no cash at all, assuming every cafe, taxi, train station, bathroom, market, and small hotel will take card. Both groups can run into problems. The smart answer is not cash only, and it is not card only. The smart answer is knowing when to use each one, how to avoid hidden fees, and how to protect yourself when something goes wrong. Because in Europe, the most expensive money mistakes usually do not look expensive in the moment. They look like convenience. You walk past an airport exchange counter, you see a bright ATM right next to baggage claim. You tap your card at a restaurant. The screen asks if you want to pay in dollars instead of euros. It feels helpful. It feels safe. It feels like the system is doing you a favor. But many times, that little moment is where tourists quietly lose money. So before your first Europe trip, here is the simple rule. Use a good card for most purchases, carry a small amount of cash for backup, and never let a machine convert the currency for you. That last part is huge. If you remember only one thing from this video, remember this. When a card machine or ATM asks if you want to pay in your home currency or the local currency, choose the local currency. If you are in France, choose euros. If you are in Switzerland, choose Swiss francs. If you are in the UK, choose pounds. Do not choose dollars just because it looks familiar. That screen is usually dynamic currency conversion, and it can give you a worse exchange rate. It is one of the easiest ways tourists overpay without realizing it. The machine makes it sound helpful, like it is giving you clarity, but really, you are often giving away control of the exchange rate. Let your card network or your bank handle the conversion instead, especially if you are using a travel card with no foreign transaction fee. Now let's talk about cash, because cash is not dead in Europe. A lot of beginners hear that Europe is card-friendly, and that is mostly true in big cities, airports, hotels, train stations, supermarkets, and popular tourist areas. But that does not mean cash is useless. You may still need cash for small cafes, street markets, local buses, luggage lockers, public toilets, small tips, rural areas, family-owned shops, or places where the card machine suddenly does not work. The mistake is carrying too much cash or carrying none at all. Too much cash creates stress. You worry about losing it. You split it between pockets. You hide it in your bag. You start treating every crowded train like a security mission. But no cash creates a different kind of stress. You arrive late, your card gets declined, the taxi does not accept card, or a small shop has a minimum card payment. The better setup is simple. Carry a small cash cushion, enough for one meal, one taxi ride, or one emergency, but not your whole travel budget. For many travelers, that might mean around 50 to 100 euros at a time, depending on the country and your plans. Then use your card for larger or trackable purchases, like hotels, train tickets, museum tickets, groceries, and restaurants that clearly accept card. But here is where people make another mistake. They use the wrong card. If your card charges foreign transaction fees, every purchase can quietly cost more. A coffee, a train ticket, a hotel bill, a museum pass, a souvenir, they all get a little more expensive. The fee might only be a few percent, but over a long trip, it adds up. So before you travel, check your card benefits. Look for a credit card or debit card with no foreign transaction fees. Also check whether your debit card reimburses ATM fees, or whether your bank has partner banks abroad. This is not exciting, but it is the kind of boring 5-minute check that can save real money. And please do this before you leave, not when you are standing outside a train station with luggage and bad Wi-Fi. Next mistake: exchanging money at the airport. This feels convenient because you land, you see the counter, and you think, let me just get some local cash now. But airport exchange counters often have worse rates and higher fees. The same goes for many tourist area exchange booths. They know you are tired, rushed, and unfamiliar with the currency. If you need cash, a bank ATM is usually a better option than an exchange counter. But even with ATMs, you need to be careful. Do not use the first ATM you see just because it is glowing at the airport exit. Look for ATMs connected to real banks, ideally inside or near a bank branch. Avoid random standalone machines in tourist zones when possible. They can charge high fees, push bad conversion rates, or use confusing screens that nudge you into expensive choices. And again, if the ATM asks whether you want conversion, decline the conversion and withdraw in local currency. Another beginner mistake is withdrawing tiny amounts over and over. Every ATM withdrawal can come with fees, so taking out 20 euros 5 different times may cost more than taking out one sensible amount once. But do not go too far the other way and withdraw your entire trip budget on day one. The goal is balance. Take enough cash to avoid repeated ATM visits, but not so much that losing your wallet becomes a disaster. Now let's talk about credit cards versus debit cards. For purchases, a credit card is often safer because it adds a layer between the merchant and your bank account. If there is fraud, a bad charge, or a dispute, you are not directly exposing your checking account the same way. But for ATM withdrawals, do not use a credit card unless it is an emergency. Pulling cash from a credit card can be treated as a cash advance, which may trigger fees and interest immediately. Many tourists do not understand this until the statement arrives. For cash, use a debit card designed for travel. For purchases, use a no foreign transaction fee credit card whenever possible. Another thing people forget is that not all cards work equally well abroad. Europe commonly uses chip and contactless payments, and many places expect tap to pay. Before your trip, make sure your card is active, your PIN works, and your bank knows you may be traveling if your bank still uses travel notices. Also set up mobile wallet payments if possible, but do not rely only on your phone. Phones die, apps glitch, batteries fail, internet disappears at the worst possible moment. Have at least one physical backup card stored separately from your main wallet. This is one of the biggest travel safety habits beginners ignore. If all your cards are in one wallet and that wallet gets lost, stolen, or locked in a hotel room, your whole trip can become stressful fast. Keep one backup card in your luggage or hotel safe, separate from your daily wallet. Also keep a small emergency cash amount separate from your main cash. You do not need to be paranoid. You just need a backup plan. Another common mistake is assuming every European country works the same way. Europe is not one payment system. In some cities, card is accepted almost everywhere. In other places, cash is still useful. Germany, for example, has many card-friendly places, but cash can still be more common than first-time visitors expect in smaller shops or local spots. In the Netherlands and Scandinavia, card and contactless can be extremely common. In Italy, Greece, Spain, Portugal, and parts of Eastern Europe, the situation can vary by city, business, and neighborhood. So the best strategy is flexible. Do not build your whole plan around one payment method. Build a system that can handle surprises. Here is a simple travel money setup I would use for a first Europe trip. Bring one primary, no foreign transaction fee credit card. Bring one backup credit card from a different network if possible. Bring one debit card for ATM withdrawals. Carry a small amount of local cash. Keep one backup card separate from your wallet. Use local currency on every card machine. Avoid airport exchange counters. Use bank ATMs when you need cash. And check your cards before you leave, not after you arrive. That setup will solve most tourist money problems before they happen. Now let's talk about the card machine moment, because this is where a lot of travelers panic. You pay at a restaurant, the server brings the machine, and suddenly the screen asks you to choose between dollars and euros. You are tired, people are waiting, the server is standing there, and the dollar amount looks easier to understand, so you press dollars. That is the mistake. The familiar number is not always the cheaper number. You want the transaction charged in the local currency. If you need to know what it costs in dollars, check your banking app later or estimate it yourself. Do not pay extra for the machine to make it look familiar. Another mistake is not checking receipts. You do not need to study every receipt like a detective, but after bigger purchases, look at the currency charged. If you meant to pay in euros but the receipt shows dollars, you may have accepted conversion by mistake. Catching that pattern early helps you avoid repeating it for the whole trip. Also, be careful with hotel payments and rental car deposits. These are larger transactions, so choosing the wrong currency can cost more than it would on a coffee or snack. Always slow down for big payments. Tourists also get into trouble when they treat cash like a budgeting system. They think, if I only carry cash, I cannot overspend. That can work for small daily spending, but it can also backfire. If you carry too much cash, you may become less organized. If you run out, you may end up using a bad ATM or exchange booth because you feel pressured. A better budgeting system is to decide your daily spending range before the day starts. Use card when it makes sense, use cash when needed, and track the big categories: food, transport, attractions, and random extras. Another mistake is forgetting about transit. In many European cities, public transport is easy with contactless cards or mobile wallets. But in some places, you may need a ticket machine, local app, or cash backup. Before you arrive in a city, search how the local transit payment works. This can save you from standing at a ticket machine while your train is leaving. And if you are using contactless transit, use the same card or device when tapping in and out. Mixing cards can cause problems or extra charges. Now, let's cover tipping. Many Americans travel to Europe and bring American tipping habits with them. Europe is not exactly the same. Tipping rules vary by country and type of service. In many places, rounding up or leaving a small tip is appreciated, but large tips are not always expected the way they are in the United States. This matters because tourists can overspend simply because they do not know the local norm. Before each country, quickly check the tipping culture. Not because you want to be cheap, but because you want to be respectful and realistic. Another important point: do not flash large amounts of cash. This sounds obvious, but tourists do it all the time when they are unfamiliar with the currency. They pull out every bill, stare at them, count slowly, and create a tension around themselves. Before you go out, organize your cash. Keep smaller bills accessible. Keep larger bills separate. Learn what the coins look like. Europe uses coins more heavily than many Americans are used to, especially with euros and pounds. If you ignore coins, you may end up with a pocket full of money you never spend. Use coins for small purchases when appropriate. It keeps your wallet cleaner and makes cash payments faster. Another hidden mistake is depending on one banking app or one phone number. Some banks send verification codes when they detect unusual activity. If your phone cannot receive texts abroad or your SIM situation changes, you may have trouble approving transactions or logging in. Before you travel, make sure your authentication methods work internationally. Download your bank app, update your passwords, save customer service numbers, and consider setting up backup verification options. Also, keep digital and offline copies of key information, but do it securely. Do not store full card numbers in a random note app without protection. Now let's talk about travel cards and points. If your channel is about saving money and traveling cheaper, this part matters. Using the right card abroad can help you earn points on travel and dining, avoid foreign transaction fees, and sometimes get travel protections. But the wrong card can do the opposite. A card with great rewards at home may be terrible abroad if it charges fees or has poor acceptance. So do not just ask, what card gives points? Ask, what card works well for this trip? Does it have no foreign transaction fees? Does it offer rental car coverage if you need it? Does it have travel protections? Does it work with contactless payment? Is it Visa, MasterCard, or another network with good acceptance where you are going? For Europe, Visa and MasterCard are widely accepted, while some other cards may be accepted less consistently depending on the place. That does not mean you cannot bring them, but do not make them your only option. Another mistake is using debit cards for everyday purchases. Debit cards can work, but if fraud happens, the money is connected to your bank balance. Credit cards often offer stronger purchase and fraud protections. So use debit mainly for ATM cash, not for every restaurant, ticket machine, or shop. And when using an ATM, cover the keypad, check the card slot, and avoid letting strangers help you. If someone approaches you at an ATM and tries to explain the machine, cancel the transaction and leave. Most people are harmless, but ATMs are not the place to accept surprise assistance. One more thing beginners miss: weekend and holiday timing. If your card gets blocked on a weekend, or you need bank support during odd hours, resolving the issue can take longer. That is why having backup cards matters. It is also why you should test your cards before leaving. Make a small purchase, confirm the PIN, confirm the app works, and know which card you will use for what. Do not bring a card you have not touched in years and assume it will save you in an emergency. Now imagine two travelers arrive in Europe. The first traveler exchanges a huge amount of money at the airport, uses a random ATM near a tourist attraction, accepts conversion because dollars look familiar, uses a credit card for cash, and keeps every card in one wallet. Nothing they did felt crazy in the moment, but every step added cost or risk. The second traveler lands with a small amount of cash, uses a no foreign transaction fee card for purchases, chooses local currency every time, withdraws cash from bank ATMs only when needed, keeps a backup card separate, and avoids airport exchange counters. Same trip, same cities, same restaurants, but one traveler quietly leaks money and the other keeps control. That is the difference. Travel money is not about being perfect. It is about avoiding the obvious traps. So before your first Europe trip, make your money plans simple. Do not carry your whole budget in cash. Do not rely on one card. Do not exchange money at the airport unless you have no choice. Do not accept currency conversion on machines. Do not use a credit card for ATM cash unless it is a real emergency. Do not assume every country works the same. And do not wait until you are tired, hungry, and standing in a crowded terminal to make financial decisions. The best time to save money on your trip is before the trip starts. Set up the right cards, learn the local currency, know how much cash you actually need, keep backups separate, and when the machine asks if you want to pay in dollars or local currency, take a breath and choose local currency. That one small habit can save you money again and again. Europe is already expensive enough. Do not let bad payment choices make it worse.